Good morning. Malaimurasu 15 minutes news in English headlines for the day. Karur stampede, unable to understand how Madras High Court passed SIT order, observes Supreme Court. Apex Court reserves order on pleas of TVK and others. Madurai High Court upholds ban on animal sacrifice at Tiruparankundram Hill. Maria Corina Machado dedicates Nobel Peace Prize to Venezuelan people and US President Donald Trump. Trump escalates trade war, slaps 100% tariff on Chinese goods beginning November 1. New Zealand finally gets off the mark as Bangladesh capitulate in Guwahati in Women's World Cup. India in dominant position against West Indies in New Delhi Test. Jaiswal playing unbeaten on 173. News in detail. Karur stampede, unable to understand how Madras High Court passed SIT order, observes Supreme Court. Apex Court reserves orders on pleas of TVK and others. The Supreme Court questioned the Madras High Court's decision to order a SIT probe into the Karur stampede that occurred during Actor Vijay's TVK rally. The bench of Justices J.K. Maheshwari and N.V. Anjaria observed that the original petition before the High Court had only sought the framing of safety guidelines for political events, not an SIT inquiry. The judges also raised jurisdictional concerns, asking how the principal bench in Chennai could issue an order in a case that falls under the Madurai bench's purview. The Tamil Nadu government and TVK presented arguments, with TVK seeking an independent probe supervised by a retired Supreme Court judge instead of the one led by state police officers. The court further questioned how permission was granted for the rally and why postmortems of the victims were conducted late at night and completed within hours. The bench reserved its orders after hearing detailed submissions. The September 27 stampede in Karur claimed 41 lives, prompting the state to appoint a retired judge Aruna Jagadishan to head a one-member inquiry commission. Madurai High Court upholds ban on animal sacrifice at Tiruparankundram Hill. The Madurai bench of the Madras High Court has upheld the ban on sacrificing goats and chickens at Tiruparankundram Hill, a site associated with Subramanya Swami temple. The court reaffirmed that animal sacrifices in the area are prohibited and directed authorities to ensure strict enforcement of the order. Justice R. Vijay Kumar, who delivered the verdict, also confirmed an earlier judgment allowing Muslims to continue offering prayers in Nellitopu area. The court said the ban on animal sacrifice was essential to preserve peace and protect the sanctity of the hill temple premises. The dispute arose after certain groups attempted to perform ritual sacrifices on the hill, leading to complaints and legal intervention. The court clarified that those opposing the ban can approach civil courts for further remedies, but emphasized that current restrictions will remain in force. Supreme Court clears SIT probe in Tamil Nadu kidney theft case. The Supreme Court has upheld the Madurai bench order forming a special investigation team to probe the alleged kidney theft racket in Tamil Nadu's Namakkal district. Rejecting the state government's plea to choose its own officers, the court said the independence of the investigation must be protected. The SIT will now proceed with the probe into reports that poor labourers were exploited and their kidneys illegally removed with the help of private hospitals. The court also directed that the investigation be completed swiftly and that accountability be ensured at every level, emphasizing that such grave human rights violations must be met with strong legal action. Maria Corina Machado dedicates Nobel Peace Prize to Venezuelan people and US President Donald Trump. Maria Corina Machado, the Venezuelan opposition leader, recently awarded the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize as dedicated the honor to both the suffering people of Venezuela and US President Donald Trump. In a post on X, Machado expressed gratitude for Trump's decisive support of a country's pro-democracy movement, stating, "I dedicate this prize to the suffering of people of Venezuela and to President Trump for his decisive support for our cause." Machado has been a prominent figure in Venezuela's opposition to President Nicolas Maduro's regime. Despite being barred from running in the 2024 presidential election, she campaigned for a stand-in candidate Edmundo Gonzalez Urrutia, who is widely recognized as the rightful winner. Following the disputed elections, Mercado has been in hiding within Venezuela due to threats against her life. Trump escalates trade war, slaps 100% tariff on Chinese goods beginning November 1. US President Donald Trump announced that the United States will impose 100% tariff on all Chinese imports starting November 1. He described the move as a response to China's aggressive trade policies and recent export restrictions on rare earth minerals. Trump also said the US will implement export controls on critical software from the same date. Economists warned that these measures could disrupt global supply chains and raise costs for American consumers. The announcement has further escalated trade tensions between the two countries, with industry leaders urging diplomatic negotiations to avoid a full-scale trade war that could impact technology, manufacturing, and consumer goods market worldwide. New Zealand secures first win in Women's World Cup 2025 with a dominant victory over Bangladesh. New Zealand women achieved their first victory in the Women's World Cup 2025, defeating Bangladesh by 100 runs in Guwahati. After posting a competitive total of 227 for 9, the White Ferns bowlers dismantled Bangladesh batting lineup, restricting them to just 127 runs. Captain Sophie Devine led from the front with a solid 63 of 85 balls, supported by Brooke Halliday's 69. Despite early setback, the duo's partnership steadied the innings. This comprehensive win propels New Zealand to the 5th spot on the points table, surpassing Bangladesh. India in dominant position against West Indies in Delhi Test, Jaiswal playing unbeaten on 173. India dominated day one of the second test against West Indies in New Delhi, with opener Yashasvi Jaiswal scoring a commanding unbeaten 173 and Sai Sudarshan playing a vital role with 87 runs. Jaiswal's innings was lauded by Captain Gill, who said Jaiswal showed incredible maturity and composure at the crease, setting foundation for a big total. The strong partnership between Jaiswal and Sudarshan laid the groundwork for India's commanding position at 318 for 2 at the end of day one. The key moment was the 193 stand for the second wicket between the two young batters, which crushed the West Indies' early hopes. Sudarshan's enterprising knock was praised as well. The West Indies bowlers bowled with effort but struggled to break through the partnership, with Jomel Varikan picking up the 2 wickets that fell. India reaffirms support for Afghanistan, announces embassy upgrade in Kabul. India on Friday announced the upgradation of its technical mission in Kabul to the status of an embassy and decided to restart its development projects in Afghanistan, with External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar appreciating the Taliban setup for showing sensitivity towards New Delhi's security concern. Jaishankar made the twin announcements during his wide-ranging talks with visiting Afghan Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi, for the first time signaling a new approach in New Delhi's ties with Kabul, though it has not yet recognized the Taliban setup that came to power in August 2021. Muttaqi, on a 6-day trip to India, said Afghanistan will not allow any elements to use its territory against New Delhi's interest, and identified the ISIS as the main challenge for the region. He added that Kabul is at the front line of this struggle, and since the Taliban came to power, New Delhi has been insisting that Afghan soil must not be used for any terrorist activity against any country.